We were speaking of the elder sadhaks that you knew.
Yeah, the elder sadhaks, and we mentioned Parichanda.
Yes, Parichanda.
Parichanda, I used at the time to be living just above his room. And my windows used to open on his garden there, his little garden. And I remember him coming once to the place where I was working, which was Too Skillful. The
Too
restaurant,
Skillful.
Too Skillful.
Yes.
Mother had opened that restaurant for the sadhaks that were accustomed to have non-vegetarian diet. And so she had a non-vegetarian restaurant, you can say, that used to feed those sadhaks. And he came to see whether we could make a garden around the house over there. Parichanda was a very beautiful man. He was very tall and very dignified, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was very, very dignified, always talked to you softly and with a lot of poise, and there was no, he felt like very concentrated but very, very soft at the same time, you know.
And he could fill you with joy.
Yes. Just to see him was like, oh, you felt so good, you felt so good.
Exactly. Yes.
Like you were with a good man, very good man. You could feel that with him. So Parichanda, yes, he's a very...
Did you have any contact with Nolini?
Yes, Nolini, we used to be happy to see each other. Yeah, we would smile and laugh and same thing. He was, but I guess the whole atmosphere was like that those days, where
It was.
you could meet each other and just enjoy being there with each other. And I never worked with Nolini, or just saying hi and it's good to be here, nice to see you. And Nolini was like that also. I never really, had a chance. Who did I work with? No, I didn't work with any of the older sadhaks. Who else could we remember? Oh, yes. What was his name? I won't remember his name.
What was his position?
There was Kalipada, who was the cashier. There is a funny story with Kalipada where he told the mother, we don't have any money, we have to cut down our expenses. And she said, no, you don't cut down your expenses, you increase your income. Obvious, right?
Ravindra
was funny. I was staying a little away from him because he was dragging his feet on the floor like that, with bare feet, and I didn't like that very much.
We had a wonderful story told about him, that the young boys would wait till he was inside and they would climb up the mango tree and they would steal the mangoes. And he went to Mother and he said, Mother, these boys are terrible, they have stolen my mangoes. And Mother said, oh, they're your mangoes or my mangoes?
That's almost a Zen story, right?
Would you tell us a bit about your mother?
My mother, she worked at the UNESCO for all her career was at the UNESCO. And then she came here occasionally. She translated all the letters of Sri Aurobindo from English to French, as well as almost the whole of Savitri. And she came here occasionally. She was here early in 56, 57, sometime like that. And she would come afterwards. When I settled down here, she was coming more regularly, maybe every year she would come, but not for a very long stay. She would stay about a month or so, like that, and come back. Towards the end of her life also, taking care of my grandmother in Paris was one of her activities, so she was not here that much. And she was taking care of André's wife. So
Did she ever talk to you about Mother?
she doesn't want to talk about. See, there is two theories. Your inner things you can keep for yourself when you feel that you need to do that, because when some people feel that if they talk about the inner things, then they get, like she was saying the other day, they vanish, they get
Yes, she said that,
dispersed,
yes,
and you
right.
lose them. And personally, I don't think like that. I think that they have to, that can be one position of somebody, but there's another way where it's needed to be shared. It's needed not to be concealed necessarily. So that's my way of seeing things, that if I can say that, oh, there was so much happiness and joy, and if somebody can feel that joy, it's a benefit.
Of course, we are now in a global consciousness
Yes.
and a collective consciousness,
Yes.
and nothing is arcane and secret anymore.
Yes, that's what I think. And even with Sri Ramakrishna, like if you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna by Nikhilananda, there is a time, and I think this is the time now, and things change, and Mother changed so fast that nobody could even follow, follow her. So there is a change where we can, not only we can talk of all these things together, but what else is more interesting than that?
Yes,
Do I need
yes,
to talk about
yes.
how I don't know, everything is important in a way, but these things, they can, and now is the time that we should realize that many people are interested in the inner life, the spiritual life,
Yes.
and they are not anymore so much making a difference between their outward, so-called outward surface life and their inner life. There is a blend of both. This I learned very much with Judson and in California when I went there, Northern California, where the everyday life is your spiritual life.
Yes.
See, so often it has been that there was this, oh, now I'm meditating, now I'm not meditating. It's like it doesn't work that way.
Yes.
And that's why I don't mind. I told you the other day, I don't mind sharing anything. We should not make that difference anymore.
Nolini said the yoga is now hour to hour.
Yes.
Would you tell us about your time in Oroville?
Beautiful. I loved Oroville. I love the orange. I love the sand. I dug one of the first dams. Damn it.
Was that with Bob and the one that broke?
Yes.
I was there.
You
Yeah.
were
Oh yes, I was there. I saw the power of that water. Huge blocks of granite washed away like that. And it was well built. It was very well built, that dam.
Yeah. I had already left, I think, when they put the granite.
Oh.
I dug the hole.
I see. Wow.
I have dug the hole, and then probably after that I moved. I don't remember. That's when I moved from Bob's place I moved to the ashram. So and then afterwards
the
they
ashram.
came. Yes, afterwards they came and put the granite, as you're saying. The granite part, I was already gone. I was in the ashram, so I didn't see how it was washed away. I just knew it was washed away.
You said you stayed in aspiration for a while?
Yes, that
How
is.
did you feel about aspiration?
It was the first hut, in aspiration, and was a nice time. We were building those huts, and I didn't do any work at the time. I started reading the entretien, and I don't think I was working anywhere. No, I settled down there for maybe 2-3 months, when all the little huts were built, and it was nice. And it was a good feeling of community and some new way of living. And it was Mother's place in Auroville. I was living on Mother's ground, so it was a nice feeling. But I didn't much participate in, discussions of what to do. Oh yes, I taught some gymnastics there because I just came from the ballet school, right?
Yeah,
I was a ballet person, and I knew some breathing exercises and stuff. So I used to teach. That's what I used to do. I used to teach these exercises there for the people of aspiration. That is I don't have so much memory of the people. I know there was a girl called Eliane, but she might have changed her name. She had a little girl that had invented her own language. The little girl was like 6 or 8, and she would talk full sentences to everybody in her own language. Nobody knew what she was saying, but that was her language, and they vanished. I don't know what happened to them. I think they were French, yeah.
And when you moved to the ashram, well, you worked at Tuskilfo for a while. What else did you do?
I worked at Tuskilfo for a while, and then I learned. I moved away from. Mother passed away. I moved away from Tuskilfo, and I started learning sitar. I learned sitar for about 12 years.
Oh.
I played on the sitar.
Do you still play?
So I really got into, Mother passed away. And the sitar was, I picked it up because it was North Indian classical music is also a path, a spiritual path. You understand? And Mother was gone, and it was changed, things were changed. And I was like, oh, that is a path you can hold on to and keep yourself together. And why? Because, see, the Indian classical music is improvised. That means you know that. Yeah. You have the basic rules that you have to follow. And then among these different points of the rules, you follow the melody, and you improvise, and then you always come back to sa. Sa is the basic note.
Yeah, the tonic.
It's the do.
It's the do,
tonic,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So you come back to sa, and sa is taken as the one. See, it's a symbol for the one. So you go and do your life, and then poof, you come back to sa. You always come back to sa, and you come back to sa. So that was how I started doing Indian music, for that kind of structure, to keep focus on the right thing. That's how I started. And I don't play anymore, but I found a very good sitar in California for $100.
Oh.
A very good traditional, from a very good sitar maker. And I got it, and it was very interesting, because coming back trying to play, because when you have the instrument, everybody tells you, oh, play something. And of course, no dexterity, no what you need to have, nothing. But since it's improvised, when you get back to the improvisation part, you have more maturity, even if you have not played for 10 years, which is my case, 87, 97. It's like 20 years I haven't played. But if you pick up and do just a few combinations of the traditional thing, what you play has much more depth, because you have grown in between. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
It's almost like cycling comes back better. You don't forget.
I'd like to go back just to Mother for a few minutes. People have spoken about Mother's eyes. Could you say something of your experience?
One day I was like, what color are Mother's eyes, Yeah. So if I remember, I will look what color, and then I remembered, and then I looked. Impossible, can't say. Are they blue? Are they green? Are they brown? Are they? No way. Just like a vastness. Like a vastness. I couldn't see any color in them. Couldn't tell you. It was just like, how to say? It's like you are in a different space, right?
Yes.
In a different space, and it's a little difficult to say. It's like a cosmic space or something. Then
Now, I also want to ask you about her voice, because her voice
How-
for me was power, huge. I mean, when she spoke to me, it was like the room
Thunder.
was. Yeah.
No. For me, it was
Gentle.
gentle. Yeah, very gentle. Very gentle. Not the
See.
power side.
See.
Yeah. It was very sweet, really like a mother would talk to the child, very much like that, yeah. Not the power side. That's why I was curious also about Sri Aurobindo's voice, because I was thinking, how would it sound, how would Savitri sound in his voice, That would be nice to.
I have asked that question
Yeah.
to Nirod Baran, who said, "Oh, it was like a flute."
Yeah, I believe that. I heard that his voice was very gentle and
Yeah.
like that. And then you were saying the other day, Udar told you.
Udar said, "Perfect English gentleman." And of course, he had 25 years in England,
Yes, yes,
so he did have that accent.
absolutely. And
So you
Cambridge.
combine it, and it's that, and the flute, and it's very beautiful.
And I mean, the way that he combines the sounds of the words to make the music of the poetry,
Yes.
that it's a musical melodic understanding and appreciation
And mantra.
and then the mantra thing
Yes.
that it gets you
Yes.
because it's impossible to put these words together. It's just impossible. And, I love it when there's the beginning of a phrase and you go on and you go on and you go on, and then the last word just changes the whole.
Yes, yes.
The last word gives you the clue. It's just like, how can that? And so that is inspiration and intuition. And I love the part where he talks about the genius. The genius too receives, the
Yes.
thoughts that come from
Yes.
outside. And
Yes.
so he describes how even in the genius, which is him, he is the genius receiving all this poetry and beauty. And he says it just comes into your mind, and it is most divine when it is less deformed by the instrument
By the
mind.
instrument. Yes.
So even he talks about himself like that,
Yes.
because obviously it's him receiving these thoughts and these verses and saying that if my mind is capable of not distorting that, then it will come through the purest.
Yes.
It's like if I'm not there, it's the best.
And in his letters, he rarely speaks very much in first person. But we get to know him through Ashwapati.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
He describes his. We have access to his meditations through the poetry. That's what a gift. For me, Savitri is like like the Vedas in modern times. Of course, I haven't learned Sanskrit, which I believe everybody should learn Sanskrit. It's not that difficult, and it's really worth it. But the little bit I know through the translations, it tells me it's like really like the Vedas, but for the modern man. That's how I feel about Savitri. And there's so many things in there. Like the other day I was telling Jetson, oh, let's go to New Creation, to the restaurant. And I was like, New Creation, New Creation. There is this canto in Savitri which is called The House of the Spirit and New Creation.
And the new creation, yes.
And it describes what the new creation is.
Yes.
Absolutely, you read that and you know what he's talking about when he talks about the new creation. It is described in details there. And it's not going to the restaurant in Oroville, going to new creation, you know. I'm sorry.
So, I appreciate that. Yes.
And the next step, you know, is like the angels of ecstasy. How does it go? The angel of ecstasy and self-giving path. The next step is disinterestedness, you know, selflessness. So ecstasy and giving of yourself, and you know. Oh yes, there's another thing that it comes through in Savitri, is that the real highest consciousness is the consciousness of unity. They call it the unity consciousness, you know, in California or wherever. It's called the unity consciousness. There's no greater thing than that. If you can have the perception that all is one, that is the highest thing that you can. And why do we waste our time doing anything else, basically?
Yes.
I mean, we have access, we have been told this is there. It's like, oh, like beautiful food is right there, you know. The cosmic consciousness, you're a human being, you can get to the cosmic consciousness, you can get to the unity consciousness. Not a bad idea, really. Why do we do anything else?
Yeah, exactly. Do you meet people in California who are open to the new consciousness?
Absolutely. That's really, really wonderful there, that you can talk about all these things as if they are part of everyday life. As if they are with the friends that we have over there. It's like basically that's what life is about. And you know, it was a surprise to me. I went to buy a CD that is called Chakra Dancer. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to spell chakra. And the girl is typing and she tells me, oh, chakra dancer, chakra, like chakra? I said, yes, like chakra. You know, everybody knows about energy, about the energy of your being, your chakras, and the inner life. Yes, I mean in the area where we are at, which is north of San Francisco. Yeah.
So you feel an openness there.
Oh yes, very much so. Very much so. It was open in the 60s already.
True.
No.
That was its beginning.
Yes, that was the beginning.
Yes.
So that's one place. France was very difficult for me because there is this. It's almost hostile to these things. I mean, you can't talk about meditation. Nowadays a little bit since they are doing yoga. Mm-hmm. But still, if you talk about meditation and spiritual things, it's like you're a bit of a retard or something, you know, or a loony or something. Yeah. So France, I didn't get. It's coming up. We got some friends into the healing arts also. So yes. Do you remember in a reading ever that Mother's, because I remember that she said, oh, we're going to be a group or a bunch of healers. She says that somewhere.
This I don't recall.
I want to find that extract.
Yes.
It looks like we are going to be all of us are going to be healers or something like that, she says. I want to find that extract. That'd be nice. Yeah. Yeah, otherwise, you were asking about my mother. She played tennis with the mother. She was there at that time.
Oh,
She played tennis with the mother. She remembers that. I took her to the tennis ground day before yesterday. She was very happy about that. She enjoyed that. Yeah. And
well, it has been really a special visit today. Thank you so much.
I want to
Fabienne.
hear about your experience. Do you have a recording of your own
No,
interview? Can I
people-
come and interview you?
Would you like to do that?
Yes, we
Really?
could do that.
Well,
We'll have Judson interview you.
both of you can. Both of you
You
can.
have questions?
That would be very interesting because I've never really talked, just little vignettes here and there, but not everything.
Yes, we have a project then.
What
If
is
you-
the
Okay.
what is the excerpt of the Savitri where he says, "And by their giving, it was multiplied." It
I know
wasn't
which one you
diminished,
mean.
their giving.
Oh yeah, the more you give. That is in the House of the Spirit and the New Creation. It is there. Where he says that by some mystic dispensity, the more they gave, the more they received.
Yes.
You know, the more you give,
Yes.
you are not diminished by your gift.
No.
The more you give, the more you receive. And it's true, in fact it's like that. It's like love. If you want to have love, you have to give love until you give love, or you live in love, or you feel love.
Yes.
You don't have any. It's
Yes.
only when you feel it. And
Yes,
if you
it's
feel
true.
it, it's
It's very true.
forgiving.
Very true.
It's forgiving it. Then only you have it.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just miss the
And
thing.
there are so many passages on love in Savitri.
Yes, yes. Oh,
Oh,
yes. Yeah. Oh, it's
yes.
the whole thing is.
Love
It's
in, love in her was
wider than the universe.
The whole world could take refuge in her
In her
single heart.
single heart. And that's what she was.
Yes.
That's really what she was.
And is.
And is.
Yes. Yes.
And it's beautiful to have like a step back where you can relive the feelings that you got from her. It's like so much warmth, right? It's like so much. It's undescribable, really. It's undescribable. Like so much kindness. You will notice in Savitri also that whenever he mentions really a vision of the one, or he always uses the word to describe God or the deity, or always he uses the word sweetness. It's like sweetness is one of
Sweetness was Sri Aurobindo's favorite word. And it occurs some 80-something times in Savitri.
wow.
And it was Shakespeare's favorite word.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And then mother said that, of course she said never say mother said, but she said, she said that if there was one quality, one human quality that she would like to take to the supramental world, it would be tenderness. Now our society is not that.
No.
You know, tenderness is vanishing.
Yes.
Sweetness is vanishing. You know, even the tenderness, if you imagine the tenderness of a mother towards her child, it's not tenderness. I would like to make pictures that show only tenderness. You know, if I could
Yes.
make pictures. Because that, you know, the mothers now, they're like, oh, worried, oh, this. And rarely, of course, in India you find it more than, you know, in the Occidental world. they had these Indian people have such beautiful qualities. I mean, just we have a helper that, you know, this eye is half closed and that eye is big open, and she's the most beautiful person. You know, this is India too. I mean, wow. You see things like that. You give a gift. I gave an orange to a little girl yesterday, and she's like, oh, "I'm receiving a gift." It's not the orange. It's just I'm so happy. I'm receiving. She's conscious of receiving a gift. You know.
Yes.
This is India. This is just like.
Yes.
Still, they have those qualities. But yes, tenderness and sweetness.
Yes.
Tenderness is vanishing. Thank you. You're doing
you
great
so
work
much.
like that. I'm so
you.
glad you're doing that. I hope all you do works out great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.